All right, so the first scan that we're gonna do is called heart rate variability. It measures how variable your pulse is. And so what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you put your right hand in here, 3 middle fingers until you feel a bump on that middle finger, and then just rest that down. And you're just gonna sit here and relax. And so, do you think you want your heart rate to be more variable or less variable?
More variable.
That's the right answer. And so most people think less variable, but we want it to be more because then our body can deal with life's changes more efficiently. It's gonna be able to adapt, it's gonna be able to deal with stress and help your body move through that more efficiently. What research says is the less variable your heart rate is, the higher risk for chronic disease you have, like 9 times more. And so that's where it's a big problem for your health, your wellness, your vitality, and why we measure it. Because yeah, as a chiropractor, we can help your low back, your neck, your headaches, but what we're really doing is showing this improve through chiropractic adjustments and chiropractic care. So we're showing that we can help your body move forward, function better from the inside out the way that it was designed to. All right, great, so that one's complete. So go ahead and take your hand out. You can just rest your hand in your lap. And the next one that we're gonna do is called thermography. So we're gonna be using this tool here. We're gonna start at the bottom part of your spine and we're gonna roll it to the top. It's gonna measure the temperature from one side of the spine to the other. It should be fairly even, and if it's not, it's telling us that there's stress and irritation on those nerves going to the different organs, glands, and tissues they supply. And so I'm also gonna untie the bottom part of the gown. And so we're just gonna get this rolling. Awesome. So the next one that we're gonna do is called EMG. We're gonna measure the muscles. It's gonna tell us about the overall activity. If there's any tension, it's gonna tell us about how well those muscles are activating to support your spine. In this one, we're gonna use these and we're gonna go top down. And so you're just gonna sit nice and tall with good posture with your hands on your lap. And so what happens is that when our body gets stressed, we start to go into stress posture. So our head moves forward, our shoulders start to round, and that puts extra tension on the muscles, right?
It does.
And that's where it starts working, changing posture longer term. And so it's not necessarily laziness that creates bad posture, but the body being stuck in a sympathetic stress mode state, and then it pulls it forward into that protective mode. For kids, when we do this test, it tells us about the amount of muscle activity going on, but how that's impacting the brain, because the brain has to process all that information. And so if the brain is getting all this overwhelmed information from the muscles, it makes sense that kiddos are gonna be hyperactive, they're gonna be bouncing off the walls, they're gonna be fidgeting because their brain is trying to keep up with what's going on, and that's the way that it copes. And so this is where it can turn down the muscle, like the brain volume, so that they're not needing to be taught coping strategies to deal with it, but helping them get to the root cause of the problem and see those changes longer term.
Wow. I never knew that.
Yeah, and this is why we focus on kids in our practice so that they can perceive the world differently. Awesome.
I love that.
So we are all set for this scan. What we're gonna do next, we're gonna go through the results and chat about what it means for your health, your wellness, and how your body's functioning.
Perfect. Let's do
And
it.
so we have your set of scans here. We're gonna go through them one by one so that we don't get too distracted. And so the first one that we're gonna talk about is the heart rate variability. It tells about the body's reserve, how well the body can deal with change. It's also kind of like a lifestyle stress test. And so you're the white dot. Where do you think we wanna be?
I want to say here.
Yeah, we do wanna be in the center, the center black line, because that's balance for the nervous system between the body's like gas pedal and brake pedal. This is your stress mode. This is your rest and recovery mode, but we don't want to be imbalanced either way because that's stress for the body, but it is a target. So we do want to be in the center of that green box.
Okay.
And so that's where, you know, you plotted in that green. That's great because that means that your body can adapt to life stressors and just kind of like roll with them, and it's not going to get bogged down so easily. And so that's really great. It's just a little bit lower than we want it to be, but sometimes through care, we can see things get worse before they get better. And sometimes when we do adjustments, we're kind of like throwing a wrench into the nervous system. The body's like going through all these changes. So sometimes we can see scans get worse again, but that's because we're just helping that body function better and function different. So that's where we can start to see something, but we work towards getting that back on track because we do progress scans throughout. The next one that we're going to talk about is the EMG. It's measuring the muscles, how active they are, how well they're supporting your spine. The black line is you, left side and right side. And we want that black line to follow this white shading here. And so that's where it's the most efficient. The green, blue, red, mild, moderate, severe overactivity if that black touches it. And so that's where we had some overactivity here in the neck and here at the base of the neck as well. And so that's where there's tension, overactivity, that stress posture that I was telling you about can also relate to some neck discomfort, shoulder tension. You know, that's where we're usually holding some of that stress, right? And why we like getting that massage, because it helps calm it down. But that's really showing us physiologically that it's overactive and working too hard. And then as we get down in the lower back, it actually comes on the inside, and that means that the muscles in the lower back aren't activating enough. And so people that come in with low back pain, you know, they think their muscles are going to be super tight and overactive because it feels painful, but in reality they come in with muscles that aren't active enough because it's not stabilizing their spine, which leads to a higher risk for injury and pain. And so that's more of a chronic problem. So the adjustments are going to be there to help wake up the nervous system, and then, you know, doing certain exercises can also be helpful to help that area engage. And so the combo stress between the overactivity, the underactivity leads to more stress on the nervous system and on the body. But we can get your body back on track.
Oh my God, perfect.
This one's the asymmetry, showing how it's pulling more right here. So that's added tension. We're going to just make sure we get this balanced out so we can get your body back on track.
Gotcha.
The last scan that we're going to talk about is the depth of stress, telling us about the depth of stress on the organs, glands, and tissues. So white bars are actually all within normal ranges. That's great. Overall, not a bad scan, but it's a solid B. It's not necessarily an A because some of these white bars are longer than we want them to be. We want these bars to flow a little bit more like a snake or a wave. And so that's where there's some stress that might just come out or show itself, but overall, not too bad. So definitely some things we can work on with these muscles and with what we were feeling and some of the challenges you were coming in with, but getting you adjusted, we can help get these back on track, get your body feeling better, but more importantly, functioning better.
I'm ready for it.
Let's get you started with your first adjustment.
Let's do it.
Awesome.